Okay, so good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Miss. Yes, I can hear you.
Last week we have completed, I think, clavicle fracture and proximal humerus fracture, right? So humerus is divided into the proximal component, middle, and distal. Out of this, the mid shaft fractures, right? So in the middle of the middle 1/3 of the fracture is like very easy and less complicated fracture. Out of that, mid shaft fracture. So before going into that, let's summarize once again. The proximal humerus fracture consists of like we have different classifications, and the mechanism of injury is also like the fall on the outstretched arm. This is also one of the thing, and other type is for younger patients, it's a high impacted or high energy type of injuries. In adolescent or young age people gets commonly affected, right? So, and then we have different classification for proximal humerus fracture. That is, it consists of 4 parts. That is greater and lesser tuberosity, and then we have anatomical neck, surgical neck, and part of shaft. Okay, so if it is divided into 2 parts, it is a 2-part fracture, and it is if it's divided into 3, it's a 3-part fracture. And then this is a easy to classify it into, maybe either we need surgical correction or conservative management. And if it is intra-articular type of fractures and all, because of joint stiffness is very common, and specifically in elderly population, we need to be very careful, and yearly rehabilitation is also very important. And one more thing is the proximal humerus fracture, the most common the associated injury is axillary nerve. Very important. So after any surgical correction or maybe conservative management, whatever it is, check the axillary nerve supplying areas, like both sensory and motor. This is very important, like throughout all the stages. Sometimes delayed nerve palsy or delayed complications of nerve injuries also arises. So we need to always check for the any loss of sensation as well as motor. So each type of fracture has different management component. Okay, so if it is a undisplaced or minimally displaced type of fractures, you can go for sling management, sling support, and this is one of the conservative management. And open wound or severely crushed injuries and all, like it's divided into more than 4 or 5 parts or segments, means we can go for external fixation. Otherwise, you can go for plates and screw fixation, and or screws and wire fixation. You can see that this is a fixed one. Open reduction, internal fix. Sometimes if you take X-ray, only this plate fixation would be there. There is no screws, just when only the plates are there. If it is so, it is like it is more of a stress sharing device. If you have any screws along with the plate, if there is any screw fixations, then it is more stable, as well as it's a more of stress shielding device. So it develops primary callus formation. It's not of secondary bone healing. We have for this thing, it is a mainly primary bone healing. Because if you allow some stress to that area, then only it develops, or then only it can cause secondary bone healing. Otherwise, this is normally leads to primary bone healing. So after that, maybe elderly population and the bone, sometimes avascular necrosis is very common in that area, means we have no other option. We need to replace the head of humerus, maybe sometimes crushed injuries and that type of problems. You cannot replace it, and healing also delayed, or sometimes the malunion and non-union are very, very like you can easily predict that. In that case, you can go for prosthetic replacement. So now we are coming to the management, very important for the proximal humerus fracture. I will tell you that immediate to first week. So we already know that for the first week, you need to check the if it is a surgical correction, you need to check the wound. Wound inspection is very, very important. And then is there any very tight kind of immobilization is there, means you need to check the capillary refilling in the nail beds. You need to check the nail bed blood supply, and then you need to check for that sensory problems or any other abnormal sensations, burning or paresthesia, numbness. So in the immediate immediate to first week, you have to be careful with is there any abnormal alignment, change in the alignment, or sometimes any pus formation, or erythema, discoloration, wound observation, as well as for other associated injuries. Is there any problem with that? We need to allot this time for examination. You need to check these things. And then if it is a non-operative fixations, like conservative management, sling support, or any functional braces, if you are using that, in that case, we can use pendular exercises and shoulder. Mild pendular exercises you can start. And then operative fixation, no range of motion to shoulder joint. And if it is like prosthetic fixations, if you are using any prosthesis and all, and and there is no injury to rotator cuff, then you can go for pendular exercises. Okay, so for artificial fixations like implants, if you're having prosthetic fixations, we can go for pendular exercises, because it's more stable and fixed one. Okay, so and after that, no functional involvement. Okay, the affected extremity should be restricted from normal functional activities, and no muscle strengthening like isometrics, isotonics, and nothing. You can't do that. And that's it. Okay, so these are the in the first week. If it is a non-operative, only when we are going for non-operative, you need to know that it is a completely undisplaced fractures, or minimally displaced, or sometimes impacted fracture. These are all very stable. Okay, so that's why we are having we are starting pendular exercises in the first week itself. Okay, so that is the thing. And if it is an operative fixation, like internal fixations, right, plates and screws, or screws and nailing, this kind of things, we can't do that. We can't do any ROM exercises. And if it is implants, the prosthetic implant is there, means we can go for pendular exercises, gentle pendular exercises. That is active, gentle pendular exercises we can start. Other than that, no functional activities, no muscle strengthening, no weight bearing. Okay. And after that, 2 to 4 weeks, Okay, so second week to fourth week, if it is a non-operative, that's why the conservative management means a very stable fracture. So you can start the gentle active range of motion. ROM, you can start it like flexion, extension, whatever it is like available range, you can start doing exercises. And gravity elimination, so supine lying. So gravity elimination means avoid standing type of pendular exercises. Like in the previous week also, first week also, it's a gravity eliminated pendular exercises. Okay, the only precaution you need to know is avoid internal and external rotation. Okay, so in the second to fourth week, we can follow all the gentle active exercises. Only restriction is on internal and external rotation. Okay, this is for non-operative cases. If it is an operative fixation, if it is there any plates and screws and all, no active range of motion exercises. Okay, so till fourth, sorry, up to fourth week, you can't allow any active range of motion exercises in the operative fixation. Okay, so when we can